Well, when we talk about Kanye West and GLC, that's Chicago. You know what I'm saying? It's the city, and it's a lot of love that was created to make that happen. Like people don't realize they were there from the beginning. You know, when you listen to Spaceship, you hear GLC. You understand? So when you think about when you got Kanye coming from Oakland, on 95th over there in that area. You think of somebody coming from that area being like where he is as far as rap and the type of energy he had and working at the plaza and all that. It's like it was something that we could relate to because we knew. Like when Common was rap, it was like the cool hood rap. All the rappers that made it in the industry talked about where they were from. Yo, Queens is the place. The bridge. They talk about their environment, but nobody was talking about our environment that was out there, really. So when you hear a rapper talk about stuff that you could relate to from the city that we're from, we understand it. The language, the everything, the song Spaceship, working the graveyard shift. Most people in Chicago understand that. And that relates to a lot of people around the world working on graveyard shifts. There was no song really dedicated to that. But at that time, I was working that shift, so I felt everything they were saying. Working the slave, I ain't made it. I just wish that day I make a spaceship and fly, and I'm gone, fly away, and I'm gone, and I'm gone. So GLC got on there, and that's like when I really started paying attention and realized he was like right by my house. So a couple of dudes from the manor was like, "Yo, man, GLC was gonna, be up here." But I met him, and man, very articulate brother, very on the ball, intelligent, and it's about the progression of blacks. See, that's what people really don't understand. He was about the progression and movement, further movement with blacks. And he was always with Ye at that time that I used to see. GLC was with him a lot. When Kanye would come by, he was in the manor. He was in a lot of different places at that time. So when Kanye had become Kanye with the Jay-Z and all these people with Q-Tip, GLC was with him. They would always bounce ideas off each other's head, but he would also give Ye guidance. It was actually real close to, new Mama West and everything, and she's a very, like, for the people that don't know, because a lot of you guys just see her picture, you never really seen Miss Donna West. Donna West was, a teacher at the Chicago State University. I never had a class, but I was a student there, so I would know. But here's the point I'm trying to make. Her energy was just like Kanye's. In case you never met her before, you probably go back and look at an interview. She passed, trying to have breast reduction surgery back in 2007, for health reasons. And unfortunately, it didn't go well for her. And she ended up having a cardiac arrest or something. And that was a very dangerous surgery. It's very risky. But the scenario is this, and I say that to say this. By it being so sudden, there was no room for there was no room for any type of healing process. They just kept Kanye working, So he had just basically he was on tour when all this was going on, and he had the song "Dear Mama," and he just performed that live where he was going, and they was like, "Oh, this will help you get through the pain. Just keep working." And that wasn't the cure. That wasn't a cure because it's people don't understand that keeping yourself busy is helping you avoid dealing with it. And GLC was trying to explain these things to him and tell him, and give him, nurturing things about dealing with certain subjects and dealing with certain, pain related issues. Now, he was dating Alexis at this time. And shortly after that, you know, him and Alexis just had an abrupt breakup. And it spiraled all the way down. His career started to go all the way and plummet to the ground. While his success is going up, his life is plummeting down. And there was a lot of stuff going on where Ye was just in a dark, dark place. And he just kept working, started doing 808s and heartbreaks right away. And after the graduation success, he does an auto tune record. And, he's kind of gravitated away from GLC, and a lot of people helped pulling him away. Like the Kardashian people, they really cut off him from a lot of his friends. You know, No ID and a lot of other people who were people he shouted out was there briefly, and he helped No ID really get in with the Rock and do a lot of different things. But in this instance, it was a lot of people that helped push GLC out the way, and he felt like, see, this dude don't have your interest, because a lot of people are afraid to say something to somebody. But when somebody really care about you, they'll say it. It might hurt your feelings, but it needs to be said. GLC was one of those brothers. He still is one of those brothers who don't give him the real, and he just didn't want to hear the real at that time. And then it's easy for people to come in like, the Kardashians and other people to kind of push him out and say, see what we said. You need that. That's negative energy. You don't need that energy around you right now. And when you have somebody who looked to white America, as you can see, he always named. I told you, I pointed that out to you. He always named white people, successful white people. He never named any successful blacks that's doing something. That's not Kanye. Kanye used to always champion black writers, black artists, black everything. That was people who were not getting the spotlight. Now he's talking about the Steve Jobs. Now he's talking about all these people he really don't know nothing about, but they're in there. The name is out there. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. Like, this is who we gotta be. When there's other people that's doing great, they're African American or people of color that are successful investors, they multi-millionaire people, and we don't see them champion, we don't hear about them champion. And why is that? He sound now more like Jay-Z, doesn't he? Didn't Jay do the same things? Now Jay wants to champion, the blacks and other people in power. And now we gotta now it's time to do that because he was doing the same thing. The Steve and David Morrises, he talking about all the A&R CEOs of all these record companies, the corporate takeover. I'm like, that's what we gotta be like. But I understand what he was saying, but you're basically telling Black America we gotta get like the white man. That's how it comes off. We can't get like people that look like us that is actually doing the same type of job and actually doing the same things. But I understood what they were trying to say. But it's just when you're an artist, you have to be careful with how you say things. Have to, because the message can get misconstrued, construed, and whatever, and then now people got to try to figure out what you mean. Now, Dame and Kanye was supposed to work together with GLC to put out a co-produce a record for him and all this stuff. I don't know what happened with that. I really just don't know. I don't know if Kanye and Dame just said nah or went in another direction or that was talked about in the past. But as far as I know, they all right with each other. Or they were all right until I think he did a radio interview. GLC went on the radio. I didn't hear the radio interview. I heard people was like, yeah, man, he dissed Kanye on a radio interview. But that could be people's, misinterpretation. Because me from meeting GLC, you would know that's not his demeanor. You would know that's not his thing to do is to come out and diss Kanye West like that. That wouldn't be his direction. He would try to talk to him, educate him, and probably said some things that Kanye probably, tough pills to swallow, in other words. And Kanye's probably surrounded by a bunch of people that don't want him around. But it's not just him. A lot of people that was affiliated with Kanye during that time when the Taylor Swift thing happened and all the controversy happened. Once the Kim window kind of opened up and he started dealing with Kim Kardashian, a lot of his people he was with was cut off. Cut off. Kim Kardashian ended up just basically cutting a lot of his friends off and people that was close to him. Whether Ye chose to do that or whatever, in that 2012 era when she came in the picture, that's when people started to fade out. So that's all I could basically tell you about that. It was like that 2011, 12, when she was coming in the picture, the Kardashian, that show. And next thing you know, people starting to fade on out. Fade out of the picture. So that's all I know, man. Shouts out to GLC, Shy's in the building. Shouts out to Grove Heights, the Manor, everybody, Burnside, Low End, Newtown, Murtown, Terrortown, all the towns. West Side, Homan, blowing on it, you know, Austin, Weston, Pulaski, Division, State. I'm out.